I've had a few questions lately asking about carrying camera equipment. So today we're going to go over carrying the GoPro equipment. I've gone through quite a few different systems over the last couple of years that I've been using them. There's pros and cons to each, and some are cheaper than others, but some are slightly more expensive and a bit more useful. But we'll start with the GoPro KC. This is a relatively recent addition. I do want to say that I got a pretty good deal on this, so my opinion on this might be a bit biased. I think it's £35 on Amazon, but there is some cheaper alternatives which are around £15, I think. I'll link them down below and double check those prices for you. It's quite a hard case, so it's going to protect your gear, and it's just got a zip around the outside, and I think it might just have been the packaging, but it came with this hard case with some inserts in it. I'm not sure what material it is, but it's quite firm. And when I got it, it came with the Hero 5, a little tripod and a memory card. And for some reason, getting the GoPro 5 on its own was £60 more expensive than getting all of this with it. So it made sense for me to get it, but if you're going to have to buy it separately, this is a little review. So I like the idea of that, but this configuration didn't really work for me, so we're going to take that idea and use it somewhere else. It also came with this little pouch on the inside, so it's got a zip on the outside and it's got another pouch on the inside. Also came with some little dividers. I'm not a big fan of these. They're a bit flimsy and I can't get the configuration I want using these, so I've never used them. This is a little tripod that it came with. I don't think the KC comes with this on its own, but you're not really missing out. It's quite small. It does extend up a bit, so it's really wobbly, and it only really works on flat ground. A bit of an angle there. The camera isn't level, so I've never used that, but I guess it's nice to know it's there. And let's have a look inside the case. Now, what I've done is I've got some memory foam and cut out the inserts I want. So you might be thinking it's a pretty horrible colour, but it's actually worked as a blessing in disguise, because at a quick glance you can see that all the batteries are in. There's an AA battery, but there's two things missing here. This is a configuration that I set up for going through the airport and for skiing last week. You can fit the Hero 3 in there. You can fit the Hero 5 on that side if it doesn't have the head thing on, but it worked really well. It was good having a bit of a system for changing batteries throughout the day, so I just went through each one. You could number them so you know which one for yourself, but you'll have your own systems for doing that. It also works well for in the evenings when you're charging batteries. I'd just empty the case, charge everything, and then put everything back in once it was charged. That was just good for peace of mind, and it was one less thing to worry about, because if it was in the case, it was good to go. And the main downside about this is you'd have to buy the foam. I happen to have this laying around because once you start doing DIY projects like this, the memory foam isn't something you're going to throw away. It's going to come in handy at some point. But you can buy this online. I think I've seen it in Dunelm Mill. It was a bit thicker. This is about 2 centimeters thick. It behaved a little bit differently to what I expected. I thought foam was foam and it wouldn't change, but when we were skiing it froze and it made it a bit firmer, and it was actually better because it held everything in more. It just didn't move around as much. And with the inserts, all I did was I laid everything out. Oh, that's the thing. When you are laying it out, what I do is find everything that you want to put inside it, lay it on top of the foam, have a bit of a play around, because when I first started, I had put all the batteries in flat like that, and if you just twist them to the side, you can get 2 batteries in the same space. And the space is where I messed up the most. I got this ready for carrying it through the airport, and I hadn't really thought it out that much, but I did all this the day before we went with about 30 to 40 minutes to do it all. And it worked great for going through the airport. These all fit in. You just stuck it in the tray, they scanned it, then you just shut it, put it back in the bag. But once we were wearing these GoPros, there was just 2 massive spaces there, which was really annoying to look at, because I could have put other stuff in there, maybe camera batteries, just anything really, anything other than an empty space. So what I am going to do is make a few different inserts for different occasions. I'm not always going to take 2 GoPros, but you can fine tune it to however you want it. So if you're willing to do a bit of prep work and fine tune it for your needs, I'd recommend that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good addition. Another downside is it's quite big. So if I am just going to be taking batteries out, I have this case that I used before. This is an Chrome case. I think my strobe trigger releases came in this, but what's inside is there's a Velcro strap on each side. So one side has the label on it. So I tend to put all the live batteries in there, all the dead ones in there, and then it just makes it easier. Also fits down really small. It's a little bit smaller than an ND grad filter, so fits down nice and small, and it just works. I'll try and find that as well, but what I am trying to say is you don't have to buy the specific stuff. You might have something at home that works already and you can just adapt it. That tends to be what I do most of the time, and then yeah, you just make it work for you and save yourself a bit of money. Now, the reason I have gone to doing cases like this and having a bit of a system is if you just have a bag for the batteries, you can guarantee that the first one that you pick out is going to be the dead battery. Happens every time, and it's just sod's law, but it gets really annoying. If you know that the battery you're putting in is right, then it just feels better, and I get really annoyed about that kind of thing. So this works, that works, and I'm pretty happy with these setups. So hopefully you found this helpful and you can make it work for your setup. We'll be back up on the fells next time, or out in the woods somewhere, and I'll see you in the next one.